Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Alanna Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope you've had a wonderful week. We are here now finally at Friday, January 10th, when I'm recording this. And today is special because it is a full moon day and it is a penumbral lunar eclipse day as well. This is one of 4 penumbral lunar eclipses scheduled for the year 2020. So it's kind of special. It's a special day. Yesterday, we were hit by solar wind energy. Tomorrow, we will be hit with a Saturn-Pluto conjunct in astrology, as well as, we're probably going to be hit with the coronal mass ejection. I think that's scheduled for tomorrow. And then on the 13th is the supernova shockwave should be here. And now there are more solar winds flowing from a pretty big coronal hole in the sun. And that should be here on the 14th. Now, according to Wages World on YouTube, the YouTube channel called Wages World, WAGES, like, you're earning wages, Wages World. He has a very interesting channel. I just was turned on to this by, I don't remember who, someone else said it on one of the other channels. I'm like, I'm going to go listen to this guy. I want to see what he's about. Very, very interesting, okay? He has some really interesting stuff to say about the Schumann resonance according to the disclosurenews.it site today. I highly recommend you go listen to that. It's a 7-minute clip, and he shows some amazing things that I might not have fully caught. So I'm really grateful to him today. But he also was looking at the NASA, NOAA space weather alerts, and he was saying that when he was looking at the replay or the recap, there's like an energy recap thing, and on today's clip, he shows how the energy that was flowing towards us is not only a coronal mass ejection, but with it, it's bringing solar winds. Now, both things in combination could be hitting, tomorrow, both things. So we might also have solar winds hitting us tomorrow. And when you go to Suspicious Observers, they've been talking about this for years. It's finally starting to be accepted that the cosmic weather, the space weather, does affect us. It affects us in many Earth changes ways. It affects us in a way that we have more storms, we have more extreme weather, and we have volcanic activity that was unexpected and in many cases absolutely surprising. We have a lot more rainless lightning strikes. It's a lot less to do with an actual weather pattern, climate, like normal, everyday, day-to-day thing, and more to do with electricity. And since our magnetic field, magnetic shields are down, we are being much more affected by the electric, the Father God energy, Electricity is male, whereas magnetic is female. If you were going to look at it in terms of a higher metaphysical view, the male-female energy and everything that impermeates and penetrates throughout the third dimensional world and our planet and etc. And we are still in the process of moving up to the fifth dimension, and you will see a little bit of an argument for that, even though he doesn't directly say it on Wages World. So I want you guys to go check it out and look that up. It's worth your 7 minutes. Please trust me on this. It's incredible. But today is a full moon, so I'm hoping that whenever and wherever you are when you listen to this recording, that you are able to see with a great deal of clarity your subconscious patterns, your subconscious energy, things that are still dragging you back, if you still have anything that's holding you back. And I'm hoping that you can start to let go and release and relax the things that you don't need anymore. There are a lot of earth changes. I'm going to report them in a minute, in a little while. Lots and lots and lots and lots of things going on in the planet right now. But the thing is, you have to understand is that this is a massive cleansing. Sometimes fire is purifying, and sometimes water is purifying. Snow always looks pure. There's always a lovely vibe to snow. It's very, very cold. But we do live on a planet. We chose to come and live on a planet in which there's going to be massive earth changes. It's huge cycles here, just eruptions and collisions and lands being moved and destroyed and islands sinking and other islands rising and volcanoes imploding and volcanoes erupting in other places and dormant volcanoes we thought we would never hear from again are suddenly waking up and they're starting to rumble. Earthquakes and tectonic plates. It's crazy here. We chose a very crazy world to live on. I'm for one, I'm grateful. It's very interesting. It's been a very interesting run. I've been here many lifetimes. I remember a lot of them. I won't say most of them because I have no idea how many I've honestly had, but I think I remember like 20 lifetimes I've had on this earth. And usually when you have a past life memory, it has to do with things you're trying to get through now. Things you're trying to resolve, or things that are, the karma comes back around and you get the good or the bad, depending. We're all in the process of getting rid of all of it now since we're ascending into the next higher octave of this world. So you need your subconscious patterns cleared out, and that's what the full moon is there to help you with. So if you see anything that needs work, then this is your time. This is your golden opportunity. So according to spaceweather.com, the current solar wind conditions from the sun is as follows. Density of protons is 1.5 centimeters cubed. I don't know what that means. I really need to see what the explanation of that is. Solar wind speed today is 476.7 kilometers per second, though. It's higher than yesterday. So there's that. Let's see here. There was something more that's a little bit important to talk about on here. The neutron clouds today are high. A week ago they were at very high levels. Now they are at high. And there was something else here. I'm looking and looking. There was something that's very important. Oh, I already did mention the coronal holes throughout the sun, where the solar wind is flowing out and flowing our way. Let's see here. Oh, yes, Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse. So the thinking of Betelgeuse. It says one day, perhaps in our lifetimes, perhaps a million years from now, the red giant Betelgeuse will dim a little and then it will explode. The resulting supernova will rival the full moon and cast shadows after dark. This will completely transform the night skies of Earth. No wonder that the astronomers are closely tracking the current fainting of Betelgeuse. So they show a picture here on spaceweather.com from February 2016 to January 2020, and it's obvious that, there's quite a bit of fainting going on. It's like half of the size that it was just 4 years ago. So this is really crazy. They have, over 3 years, plotted the brightness of where Betelgeuse is, and they've been watching it daily for 25 years, and they noticed a rapid decline. Now let's see, where's the scientific team here? They're from Villanova University. Edward Guinan and his colleagues are the ones that are talking about this. So they say it's easy to see, even with the naked eye, how faint Betelgeuse has become. And by the way, it's a star, if you didn't know that. I don't know if I even said the word star. Anyway, Betelgeuse was the 10th brightest star in the sky. And when you observe Orion, the constellation Orion, Betelgeuse is one of the stars of Orion, and it rises in the east after sunset, and you can't help but notice that the hunter's shoulder, which is the star of Betelgeuse, it's dimmer than it used to be. Astronomers have long known that Betelgeuse is on the precipice of an energy crisis. It's about to run out of fuel at its core, and when that happens, this star will collapse and it will rebound explosively, producing the first bright supernova in the Milky Way since the year 1604. Now, experts in stellar evolution do believe that Betelgeuse could die at any time, but during the next million years, which is just a blink of an eye, the article continues to say. As far as the scales of astronomy are concerned, just, sometime in the next million years, it's not, But, so, it says that, probably not, to the question, does the current dimming herald that final blast? Betelgeuse is a slowly variable star, and this is probably no more than an episode of deeper than usual dimming. But one day, of course, they say that astronomers will think the same thing, and then suddenly, boom, the night sky will be changed forever. That's going to be very strange when that happens, I think. So I thought that was interesting, this little article here on Betelgeuse. Again, you could go to spaceweather.com if you want to read up on that. There is a gorgeous picture from Fairbanks, Alaska, of the very beautiful green auras with the pink fringe. And it looks like it's in a spiral, and part of it's like yellow, and it's just part of it's white. The Aurora Borealis is so beautiful. It's absolutely incredible, this picture. So it's magical to me. I love it. So if you like looking at pictures of Aurora Borealis, this is a really beautiful picture. It's taken around over the night between January 8th and 9th in Alaska. So there's that. Let's see how many moments do we have left on this. So yeah, the Schumann resonance news from disclosurenews.it. This is really incredible. You've got to go look at this picture. I would say Wages World, because he talks about it a little more. The 8:30 in the morning report says, yesterday we had a short series of isolated pillars, and today the same thing, but of greater magnitude, both in the maximum amplitude value and the duration of the peaks. The first introductory movement took place at 1 UTC at power 20, The second peak was at power 46 from 4 to 5 UTC. The last peak so far has been at power 65 and lasted 30 minutes from 5:30 a.m. UTC. Now, the evening report says, from 1700 UTC time, they say after the first 3 previous pillars, there was also the fourth between 8 and 9 UTC that reached power 47. Today's activity took place in the period from 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. In the amplitude graph over the last 3 days can be noted a gradual increase in amplitude values and duration. But what he said on Wages World he makes a lot of sense. It looks like we now have 2 bases. The normal one is 7.83 hertz. That was a Schumann resonance since it was discovered. And now there is a secondary line that is a new baseline. And it looks like it's starting to formulate, meaning we are absolutely physically getting ready to hop into the 5th dimension. At least that's what I believe by looking at this. There are several lines going across on the horizon, as well as vertical pillars that they're talking about. But the past 4 massive pillars, the first one of the last 4 massive ones, and there's a lot of little tiny faint ones, is bizarre. There's a lot of red and white. It's almost like a striped candy cane. And then at the top, there's some hot green energy. And at the bottom, there's a lot of turquoise, blue, and green. But in the middle, it's red and white stripes, just like a peppermint candy. I'm telling you, the Schumann resonance today is absolutely bizarre looking. It's weird. And speaking of bizarre, I don't know what happened to heartmath.org, but they're back, baby. Thank God. They're back. They've been gone for quite a while. They've been offline. So I want to catch you up on some of the news. Now, on January 6th at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is Monday, that's when Alberta, Canada went to 0 on the Schumann resonance scale. And there they have remained this entire time. Hofu, Saudi Arabia is also flatlining at 0. And I thought that was odd, okay? And when they were at 0 in Hulului, South Africa, they were at 460. And then Hulului went down to the 374 range and then went right back up again. Now, on January 7th at noon, they were at 567. And then they went up to 572 at 1400 hours on January 7th. 572 hertz frequency, that's huge. That looks like that was the peak. They were at 555 at 2100 hours on Tuesday, January 7th. So that's what's been going on in Hulului. And then they dropped all the way back down to, and everyone else has been kind of middle of the road, just little dips and trips, bumps, along the road, not, in the double digits, nothing major. But then Hulului went down to 228, and now they're climbing right back up. And so, and I'm sorry, let me tell you where they were. They're 228 at 1700 on January 8th. And then they started climbing back up, and they had a little dip at 313 on the 9th, which was yesterday. And then they bumped on up to 363 hertz frequency yesterday at 1800 hours. Had a quick little bump down to 339 at 8 o'clock last night, 20 hours. And right now, today, what's happened? Let me tell you the whole thing now. In Hulului, South Africa, they started off today at midnight at 397 hertz frequency. And they reach little plateaus and then they move up. And they ended up at 5 a.m. at 486 hertz frequency on the Schumann resonance scale at 5 a.m. Now, again, just to reiterate, Hofu, Saudi Arabia, and Alberta, Canada are both at 0, flatlining all the way across, and they've been doing that since the 6th of January. California, they know how to party. And they're at 52 hertz frequency at midnight. 52 it's in the fifth dimension. It's, low. But they started there at midnight, and by 5 a.m. they were just at 53. Not much big of a change. Lithuania, they were way up there. They weren't as high up there as Honolulu, South Africa, but they start off at 130 hertz frequency at midnight, and by 5 a.m. they were at 132. So, last but not least, Northland, New Zealand was at 15 hertz frequency at midnight, but by 5 a.m. they went down to 0. That brings us to a running total of 50% of the cities are at 0. What does that mean? I don't know. What's going on? I can't explain it. I can only report what's happening. I don't understand enough to really make a decision on what this actually means, but I do know that, they say that the baseline of the fifth dimension is 40 hertz frequency. Does that mean half the city is and half the planet, half the planet is and half the planet isn't? I don't know. I saw a cloud earlier today, a couple hours ago. I was thinking about doing a cloud reading for us for the show today, and this is what I saw. I saw a pyramidal form with wings coming off the side, and that quickly changed into an arrow going up. That finally changed into what looked like the eye on the top of the pyramid. So that will have some kind of meaning to some of you. Now I'm looking, and pretty much the clouds they're pretty nondescript. Every now and again, there's another eyeball type of formula that's showing up. Right now, there's a little bit of a Leo. So if someone's out there a Leo, that might mean something, Maybe the rest of the message has some meaning for you. I do see a Native American face in the clouds, a little bit, very faint. It's starting to go away already. So that means that's somebody else. It's not a reading for me. It's above the hill, so I think someone over there is thinking about their native roots or something. Very possible. But, hey, it's always interesting. It's like you interpret the clouds how you wish. If it means something to you, it does. If it doesn't, So, the Foundation for Inner Peace website is found at acim.org, and ACIM stands for, of course, A Course in Miracles. We are on lesson 209, which is still in the middle of a review, and they have the main theme going through this whole review, and one thought of the day. So the theme is, I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And taken from lesson 189, the main thought for today is this: I feel the love of God within me now. I feel the love of God within me now. The love of God is what created me. The love of God is everything I am. The love of God proclaimed me as His Son. The love of God within me sets me free. I'm not a body. I am free, for I am still as God created me. So there you have it. When I come back, I'm going to do a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to do a lot. We have so many earth changes going on, and I hope that whenever and wherever you are, not only are you looking at your subconscious minds, I want you to understand that all the earth changes. I don't want you to blame yourself or go, oh, I must deserve this, especially if you're going through the fires. Vanessa wrote me from south part of Australia. She's in the middle of the fires. The smoke's in the air. It's really scary, and so pray for Vanessa, pray for all the people and animals of Australia. We just got to keep sending the love to everybody, the cold areas, the hot areas, all the areas, the dry areas, the overly wet areas. And we're going to talk about all these earth changes in a minute, but I want you guys to know that this massive cleansing that's happening is just to cleanse energy. And it's not like you deserved to be in a specific place when a specific thing happened or not. It's not about karma or deservedness or your wickedness in a past life or something. So in case any of you were thinking along those lines, I want you to just kind of stop that, because you are just here to have an experience, and you're having an experience. You really are. This whole world is a trip. It's a very trippy experience, and you're here. Your purpose is to pretty much, you're like a security guard. You're here to observe and report for God. You're here to experience for God, so that God has direct knowledge of what it feels like to be here in this simulation, this holographic world that feels oh so very real. This is the ultimate virtual reality that we live in. It is a hologram. It really is. It's not as solid as we think, and that's why time and space, there's hiccups, and sometimes our couch is a pale tan, and next thing we know, it's like a camel colored tan, and it's like, wait a minute, that's not what I remember. Sometimes we drink all of our coffee, and a few minutes later, there's still half a cup left. Wait a minute, I remember drinking that. It was a hiccup in time. Time is an illusion, and sometimes it's not really what we imagine it to be. We're going to go over some time travel theories, supposedly from a time traveler. Now, whether he's real or not, I don't know. But we're going to talk about the theories and how neat it will be if they're true. If they're true, what shall we do? And we're going to use a pendulum, and we're going to dowse for it and see if it's true. We're going to ask Prime Creator, because this is always fun. We did this before. We're going to go back to the same time traveler. He's had 3 videos, so we'll see what he has to say for himself this time in the second series of videos. But I've been really getting into the cosmic disclosure inside the Secret Space program show that is on Gaia, GAIA.com. Now, I really, 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 really encourage you, if you guys are interested in this sort of thing, if this sort of thing this is my passion. I love looking into strange and unusual, anomalous things in our world. And the Secret Space program, there's like a whole nother culture of humanity that we were not privy to until recently. Now the disclosure is happening, and it's coming out, and Corey Good is only one of many people that are interviewed by David Wilcock. And I'm looking at this show just going, oh my God. Stuff that I always knew, that men can phase themselves and walk through walls. I know, because that's how they've abducted me. I have memories. I think I was a part of the MyLab program. I think that my part of it ended when the Cold War ended. And I think that I was somehow brainwashed into believing Russians were not good people, which I don't believe that now, but I've had a couple experiences with that, and I've also been abducted quite a bit since I was a kid, and I do have scars on my body that prove something has happened. Definitively, I can't say what, but I really do believe I was abducted, and I have really strange memories, and it's very odd that some of the ideas about time travel and making things move forward or backwards in time, time is an illusion, and all time is happening now, at this time. All we ever have is now. I have moved my coffee backwards in time. I've tried and practiced this and made my coffee go back to time in which it was warmer to warm up my coffee. I've also made it go forward in time to see if it gets colder. Now I got to learn how to do that with my face, go backwards in time with my face only, but not with my brain. Well, many more experiments will have to ensue. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to go over weekly world weather, news, and earth changes right after this. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's high time you did. It is the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's absolutely free. Second of all, they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. You guys have known that I've been doing this for 8 months using the Anchor.fm app right on my cell phone, and I have done it everywhere, right? I have recorded this in my living room, my bedroom, little cafes in Quito, Ecuador, all over Cuenca. It's so absolutely easy to make your podcast, and editing is just a snap. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you, and it took me about 2.5 months to become syndicated, and now I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more, and so can you. You can make money from your podcast also, and there's no minimum requirement. You get paid from your very first listener. It is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So please, if you are interested in making a podcast of your very own, do not hesitate to start with Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you. Alright guys, so I wrote down a bunch of questions from time travelers from Apex TV, and then after I wrote them down, I have like 21 questions here, maybe a couple more because of the follow-up questions. The first time traveler was from the year 4040, and I listened to him speak, and I wrote down 3 of the things he said to ask God if they are real. Already connected to God, I already have my pendulum in my hand. But the problem is, I feel like this guy is a fake. I'm going to tell you in a minute why I believe that the guy claiming to be Adam Lawrence from the year 4040 is fake. Alright, so I asked if that was his real name, and the answer was no earlier, so there's that. But he was saying that in his time, people live on Mars now, and that most of the planets are currently inhabited, including, of course, Earth, but also Mercury, Venus, and then also Pluto. And then many, many of the moons are inhabited. But see, this is weird. And I'm going to ask these questions. He said now, and I think he means in the year 4040, like that's supposed to be some big, massive revelation. He was talking in 2018, and this video of him was released in 2019. And if you guys go over to Gaia and you could go get a free trial for a couple weeks, and if you binge watch the Corey Good interviews with David Wilcock for Cosmic Disclosure, right now in the year 2020, in fact for the past maybe 20 years or more, people already do live in these places. I don't believe anyone lives in Venus. And I'll tell you why. The Russians sent out a craft to explore Venus. They had a couple men in it. They were sending signals back to Russia. I think it's in the late 60s. And they were in touch with them right until they were about to touch down on the surface of Venus. And right when they were about to touch down on the surface of Venus, they started screaming that, ow, ow, it's hot, it's burning up. There's a clip on Art Bell, Coast to Coast AM. I've heard this clip several times. They played it in a couple different episodes. You could just do a YouTube or a Google search and find this clip. And the minute that they basically touched down on Venus, the surface of Venus was so hot that the cosmonauts were lost and they burned up. Now, I'm not saying that we can't have technology to live on a super hot, super close place to the sun. It just doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to live on Mercury, which is closer to the sun than Venus? So I wrote down like 3 things that this guy said, and then I just like, you know what? I'm calling BS on it, and I pulled the plug on even listening to the rest of his video. And I went on to the Daryl Dean video. But he said that we live in these places now, meaning 4040. But you know what? In 2020, in half the time, 2020 plus 2020 is 4040. But in half the time right now, I'm going to ask God if this is true. Because this is actually not testing Adam Lawrence, who I think is not true. But it is testing Corey Good, who I do believe to be true, but we're going to see. I'm going to blank my mind. All right. And now the pendulum is showing that it's ready. Divine Creator, Father God, Prime Creator, am I connected to you? Answer is yes. Okay, God, do people live on Mars right now? I am getting a yes for that. Okay, God, do I have permission to ask if people live on other planets? Do people live in our solar system? Are any of the planets inhabited right now? Again, I'm getting a yes. Are any of the moons, like Europa and Io, are any of the moons in the solar system inhabited with people? Do people live there? And I'm getting a yes. All right, I'm not going to waste time on those questions anymore. Okay, this guy, Adam Lawrence, supposedly, it's his real name, but I don't think it is. Space bus, he says. There's a space bus between the planets that we can take, and it's really cheap. And it just takes about 1 day to get to the planets and 5 days to get to Pluto. And he calls it the universal vacations. Okay, so will there be a space bus between the planets to go visiting? The answer is yes. Will it take 1 day to get to the closer planets? I'm getting a yes. Will the name be called Universal Vacations? I'm getting a no. That's what he said. Will it take more than 5 days to get to Pluto? No. Will it take less than 5 days to get to Pluto? Yes. Will it take less than 1 day to get to the other planets? Yes. So, see, the thing is, the reason why I'm saying I really believe that, I don't know if it's going to be a space bus. I mean, obviously not an actual bus. Like, do you guys remember that cartoon bus, the magic bus? Now, that one flew through the air, but I think that there's another reason why it was magical. Secretly, I think the teacher was high. I think there's going to be something like that, but I feel like it's going to be more like teleportation or instant portal travel. So I'm going to ask about that. It has nothing to do with Apex TV, but I'm going to ask a question about that right now. All right, God, will we as civilians and not government employees have the ability in the future to travel among portals? And I'm getting a yes. And will we be able to travel to the Pleiades? I'm getting a yes. Will we be able to travel anywhere in any of the known universe? Yes, I'm getting a yes. And will we have that ability? Well, we have the ability right now, but will we have the access as normal citizens to that in the next 6 years? I'm getting a no. Will we have that access to traveling by portal anywhere in the known universe within the next 20 years? I'm getting a yes. And is that for non-government employees? I'm getting a yes. Will it be less than 20 years? I'm getting a yes. Will we have access to portal-to-portal travel in the known universe in less than 10 years? I'm getting a no. Will we have that kind of travel in less than 15 years? I'm getting a yes. Will we have that kind of travel available to us in less than 12 years? I'm getting a no. Will it be in 13 years? I'm getting a yes. So in 13 years, I'm looking at the year. That'd be 2033. Oh, that's hilarious. That just takes us to Daryl Dean. So, okay, Daryl Dean is supposedly a time traveler from the future, and he also was on Apex TV, and we talked about him before. He had very interesting predictions. Whether or not he's real, I don't know. But we're going to talk about, he comes from just from the year 20, so 13 years in the future. Not too terribly far into the future, right? So, okay. Daryl Dean says that there will be no major wars in the future. So, Prime Creator, do I have permission to ask this? Of course. Will there be any major wars between now and 2035? I'm getting a no, a very strong no. All right. By 2033, the prediction is there will be one major religion that basically is like a unifying force or unifying religion that everyone pretty much basically believes. Will there be only one major religion in the future? Oh, this is weird. I'm getting a yes. I honestly expected a no. This is a pretty strong yes. That's nice. Okay. Very cool. I'm glad that this guy's saying something that's real or right. Very weird. Okay. Okay, God, I'd like to ask you about the free internet 6G network. Will that be released in the year 2024? It's doing little tiny circles, clockwise circles. That means yes. All right, now, will there be free Wi-Fi for everyone in 2024? The answer is yes. Is this a direct result of Elon Musk? And I'm getting a yes. He did launch like 20,000 satellites or something that's now surrounding the Earth. He's getting ready to implement it, but I guess it's going to take another 4 years to get it all up and running. Will it be up and running before 2024? I'm getting a yes. Will that 6G free network to the whole planet be released before 2022? I'm getting a yes. Will it be released this year? I'm getting a no. Will it be released in 2021? I'm getting a yes. So this guy might be telling the truth, but he might be on a different timeline. That can always happen, as timeline travel or time travel can actually create a timeline paradox. So yeah, where you come from it is, but you went back in time and now you're on a different timeline. He said that in the year 2033, that our biggest problem on the planet will be overpopulation. All right, so is that true, God? Is overpopulation going to be the biggest problem in 2033 on Earth? Okay, pendulum's starting to move. It's going back and forth. And it's saying no. All right, will the second biggest problem, he said, be global? Well, he said global warming would be the second biggest. So let's just ask, is the biggest problem on Earth in 2033 global warming? All right, so that would have to be true then. That's a yes. So basically the biggest problem is global warming. Okay, so is the second biggest problem on Earth in 2033 overpopulation? Yeah, that one I'm getting a yes. It's not a very strong yes. Yeah, I'm kind of getting a yes. So basically, he just had it backwards. All right. All right, so this guy says that service robots will do everything for us. He talked about working in restaurants last time we dealt with his information. This time he says that they're going to be driving our trucks, like the long-haul truckers will be replaced by service robots, and that there will be service robots working in elderly care and or nursing homes. So I'm going to ask about this. Will service robots drive trucks long haul in the future for humans? All right, it's going back and forth. Whoops. Now I'm getting a no. No. All right, so will service robots be working in elderly care homes in the future to help the elderly by 2033? And for this one, I am also getting a no. So, will people have more creative professions in the year 2033, such as writing movies, making movies, writing books, because service robots do a lot more for us? I'm getting a yes to that. Very nice. That's a ding, ding, ding. Yes. That's a good, nice, positive, strong yes, too. All right, now question number 8 from Daryl Dean's list. Will our lifespan in the year 2033 be on average 130 years old? Again, a really small and weak yes, but it's still a yes. All right, and Prime Creator, I'd like to ask, will this be will our lifespan be increased as a result directly to do with gene editing our genes? And I am, again, getting a yes. It's more of a weak yes, but it's a yes nonetheless. So, hey. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right. Number 9, he said that there's only going to be 10 main world leaders by the year 2033, and they all run the world jointly. And that's as a direct result because before he said there will be aliens or extraterrestrials landing and revealing themselves, and massive disclosure will happen in 2028. So by the year 2033, there's only going to be 10 main world leaders. And he also said that they're going to be basing all their decisions on the instructions and or information given to them by artificial intelligences. That is a lot smarter than humans, and so they consider all the input and then they make their leadership decisions together based on all of the input that they could possibly have. So that's what that part of it was. And let's see. So I'm going to wait now. Pendulum says it's ready. Okay, so will there only be 10 main world leaders that work together by the year 2033? And I'm getting a yes. Now, based on artificial intelligence or information instructions, will they make their decisions based on that? And I'm kind of getting a maybe. I'm getting a kind of a wonky yes. I think because I'm getting a maybe. All right, so will the 10 main world leaders take into consideration information given to them by AI? Yes. And of course, maybe every decision is different. So, hey, you know what? We're going to just move on. Okay, question 10. Will artificial intelligence and humans have equal rights as each other by the year 2033? Oh my God, that's so weird. That's a yes. Very weird. Okay. And will artificial intelligence beings have rights? And the answer is yes. Okay, by the year 2033, will artificial intelligence or AI and humans live in peace and harmony together? And that's question 11. By 2033, will AI bots and humans live in peace and harmony together? And I am getting a yes. All right, will there be regular commercial trips available to all of the moons and the Mars and all the places where people live? Or will we be able to just hop a spaceship and take a commercial trip to Mars by 2033? I'm getting a yes. Will it take less than 5 years? I'm getting a yes. Will we be able to do that via portal to portal by 2033? I'm getting a no. So does that contradict something I said earlier? Let me see. Let me try that one again. All right. Will we be able to take commercial trips via spaceship to Mars and the moons? I'm getting a yes. And will these trips take less than a week to get to these places by 2033? I'm getting a yes. Will these trips take less than? Okay, will these trips take less than 2 hours to get there? I'm getting a yes. Is that because it's a portal to portal? I'm getting a yes. Okay. Oh, okay. I see how I worded that wrong, because you can't just take a portal. You have to be inside a spaceship-ish to go through the portal. You can't just go by yourself. I think that's where the question was wrong. Well, these are interesting answers anyway. I mean, whether it's real or not, whether these things are real or not, whether the answers are real or not, it gives us hope, right, for the future. If it is real, it's kind of fun and exciting. All right, so question 13, VR, virtual reality, will be as realistic as actually traveling. I'd like to ask, by the year 2033, God, will virtual reality goggles and headsets that people will be wearing as a form of entertainment, will that be just as realistic as actually traveling? I'm getting a yes. Very interesting. All right, so question 14. Now, Geraldine was saying that there will be cities at the bottom of the oceans, and we will be able to get there by submarine, and that we will actually, we could live under this bottom of the ocean if we want. So I'm going to ask a question about that. All right, by the year 2033, will humans be able to live in ocean cities that are enormous at the bottom of the ocean? I'm getting a yes. And will we be able to travel and visit them by submarine? I'm getting a very strong yes. So there we go. That's crazy. I had heard something about this before, not just from him, but so that's interesting. All right, so he was asked about his day-to-day life, and he told us that in his second Apex TV interview, that in the morning his house robot will wake him up, and then he'll get up and get ready, get dressed, and the refrigerator will prepare his meal for him when he tells it voice activated, what he wants, and the fridge will start to make the meal. And while that's happening, the house robot will clean up his house for him, and then when he's finished eating, his house robot will give the dishes to the robot, and the robot will clean them. Pretty exciting stuff. So first of all, here's the first question. Will house robots wake us up in the future? I'm getting a yes. And will house robots clean our houses for us? I'm getting a yes. Is this going to be better than a Roomba? I'm getting a yes. Will refrigerators in the future prepare our meals for us by 2033? I'm getting a yes, guys. That's almost scary. Okay, so will our refrigerators be voice activated in the future to prepare our meals by 2033? I'm getting a no. All right, will refrigerators by our voice prepare our meals? Oh, see, the question is, would the refrigerator work if it's voice activated? So see how when you do pendulum dowsing, you got to word the question right. So let me ask again. Will refrigerators work whether we talk to them or not? I'm getting a yes. Will our voice activate the meal preparation process through the refrigerator? I'm getting a yes. All right, see, you guys be so careful when you ask these questions. All right, number 17, brain chip inside your mind will help you to instantly type your thoughts with an interface directly with your computer through a Wi-Fi, like a wireless, in a wireless way. So, okay, will we have brain chips in our mind in the future by 2033? And the answer is yes. And will it instantly type what we're thinking? Okay, will it instantly type up what we're thinking as we ask it to? And I'm getting a yes. Oh my God, my job as a writer will be easier. Provided I want to get the brain chip. Let me ask this quick question. Are brain chips in the future safe to have in our brain? I'm getting a yes, a big yes. Oh my God, how can that be safe? Does that give you just like, it kind of almost knocks the wind out of my sails a little bit. I'm just like, ugh, I can't even breathe. It's so crazy. All right, and here's our final question for the night. Will we be able to request rides like Lyft or Uber? Maybe not them. We don't know if they're going to be in the future. But will we be able to request a ride just using a thought in our mind and our brain chip by 2033? It's a big yes. So we could call a taxi with our brain, just thinking, oh, I want to have a taxi. Boom, you just called the taxi. Well, there it is, guys. Those are the time traveler questions I had to ask this time, and we'll do this again. This guy seems to have really accurate information, right? So maybe he really is from the future. I do believe in time travel. I do believe it's real. I do believe it's been going on since the 1980s, or maybe before. I do believe that Corey Good stuff is real too, you guys. The more I listen to it, the more I'm just blown away. All right, so quick, I wanted to mention a big thank you to blog.feedspot.com for naming Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast, as the #1 metaphysical podcast in the world in the year 2020. It's been out for a week. I just discovered that today. We were listed as the #1 to listen to. And they only had like 3. Usually they have a list of 5. I think there was only 3 on the page. I'm going to try to go for the podcast. There's a podcast awards. And when that opens up, I'm going to telescope it. I'm going to tell you guys about it now. I don't think you can nominate me. I have to register, and I can't register till February. Last year, we were able to register in January, but I didn't even hear about it until like June, so it was all over for me then. And it's like a People's Choice Awards. So you have to vote for it or nominate it for the award if indeed we get to that point. Well, when we get to February, I'm going to tell you guys more about it. Once I register, then I can be nominated. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do that. It looks really interesting, and it would be so weird to win a podcast award. I don't even know. I did win one last year. It was an internet award, and it was like a GIF, GIF. So I downloaded it. I have it. It's kind of cool. It's like, oh yeah, cool. So, all right. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I wanted to say thank you to also, I was listed as the #1 metaphysical by player.fm as well. So 2 people, or at least, I guess 2 people in the world think that we are #1. So I think that's pretty cool. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Vanessa, for writing me, and all the other people who have written me in the past week or 2. I love hearing from you guys. I did just get something from someone, I think, today. I haven't read it yet, so we'll announce that on Monday. Anyway, I will be back on Monday, and I'm going to go enjoy the full wolf moon, by the way. I wanted to mention this before I forget. Tonight is the full moon, and it's called a wolf moon because, according to the Old Farmer's Almanac, back in the day, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, this was the time of year in which the wolves would cry throughout all the villages because they were very hungry. You've heard of the saying, hungry like a wolf. You've heard of the song from the 1980s. Anyway, I just want to mention that. So happy Wolf Moon, guys. Have a wonderful and happy weekend. I'm taking 2 days off and hanging out with my kid, and I might go out and have coffee with a friend this weekend. I might actually get a life, finally. But I will be back on Monday. We're going to get back to the Spirits book reading. I think we have a couple more months left of that. It's a really long book. But we're going to do that on Monday. We'll be back with all new, original, and unique programming next week, just like always. Thank you very much. I love each and every one of you. I wanted to say thank you for liking, subscribing, and always for sharing with others. Sharing is caring. So thank you for that. All right, I'm signing off with peace and joy and the high vibes of the holy 5th dimension. Until next time, guys, peace. Do you ever wish you could look into the next chapter in your book of life and see what's coming next? What does the universe have in store for you? I can help you with that. I will give you a Celtic cross reading
which is 10 cards, or you can ask me 3 questions, and I use 3 cards per question. So that's 9 cards, or I can channel your higher guidance, or maybe God directly for you. Maybe you want to talk to your dear departed Aunt Edna, because maybe you have a few questions and she was the smartest person you knew. If your deceased relatives are available or your ascended masters, I can channel them for you personally. Let me have 1 hour to show you the future in your next chapter of your book of life. Readings are $75, and it takes me an hour to an hour and a half to complete. And for this price, you will also be hooked up to the healing grid around the planet for free, which means yours truly, me, I will be giving you Reiki 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the rest of your life. All you have to do is let me know. MetaphysicalSoulspeak@gmail.com, and we will explore your future together.